So let's look at making a Pandas series here. So I import Pandas as PD, and then I make a series called my series, and I use the Pandas series command, and inside the parentheses I put a Python list. And then I print that series, and then I make a list specifically in Python, and then I make a second series using the series command, but I just send it the variable list, not the actual values in the list. So you can see you can create a series in Pandas by hard coding a list in or sending the variable that's a list to that series. So you should see the connection between a series and a list, a Pandas series and a Python list. If we look at series 2, I bring in numpy and Pandas, and if we call an array in numpy, I do the same thing. I have a list that I've put in there, and I create it as the numpy array called data. I make a Pandas series using the numpy array, which comes from the list, and I call that my series, and we run that. You can see I have the list there. I didn't print I only printed the series. I make series 1, and now I do the data, but now I change the index value. If you notice, the index value is here 0, 1, 2, 3. I change that to 100, 101, 102, 103, and if we go past that, you will see now the index values are here. So you can use the default index values, which just start at 0 and go up, or you can set your own index values to have some meaning to your series here. And of course, it's the same if you're doing a two-dimensional array as well. But we'll get to that later. Bringing in numpy and pandas again. I'm making a same numpy array using the hard-coded data. I am then making a series out of that, but while I make the series, I'm going to set the index to the index values. So I'm going to print that series 1, then I'm going to print show you the index, and then show you the values. So if we run that, you can see there is the Pandas series. There is what you get if you try and print the index, and there is what you get if you try and just print the values from the series. That should remind you of if you use the enumerate with lists in Python. Here we go. Now, instead of using a list to make my series, I'm using a dictionary. So I create a dictionary with our keys, which would be our index values, and of course our values, which are the second half. So it's key value, key value, key value, key value, key value in my Python dictionary. When I make a Pandas series using that, the keys become the indexes, the index values or indices for the series, and of course the values stay the values. And I'll do the same thing. I'll do print the index and the values here. So you can see I start out with my dictionary, and because it has the index values in there, it already comes as the new index values, not the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the index, and there's the value again. So as you can see, you can make a series from a Python list and then add the your own index values in, or if you have a dictionary with your own index values there, you can make a series straight from that. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring in pandas and numpy. I'm going to make a numpy array called data. I'm going to make my series 1 from that data, and I'm going to set the index values, and I'm going to print that. I'm then going to make a second series. I'm going to use the same data, but instead of a numeric index, I'm going to use a string index. In our case, it's just A, B, C, D, E. If you were doing this, it could be readings from different months of the year, so they might be January, February, March, and April, etc. And then I'm going to print that series, and then we're going to look at printing individual values. So I'm going to print from series 2 the first or 0 index, and I'm also going to print the B index. And as you can see, the first or 0 index, the value is 23, or the second or B index is 7. Now, if I tried to do the print from my first series, and that's the one that has the numeric index, and tried to do the 0 value, it blows up. If you have index values that are numeric, you can't refer to the values in the series in a numeric fashion. If you've made your index an alphabetic version, not a numeric version, you can refer to those values either as the default numeric value or the alpha value. That's the only time that's going to happen. Usually, if you change it to the alpha, you're going to use the alpha, but the numeric is still available to you. Exact same thing if you do a dictionary. If you make the dictionary numeric, you can refer to it using the new numeric value. If you try and refer to it using the original numeric value, it blows up. And if we made these as the keys as alpha, it would work just as it would here. So there's the introduction to making series in numpy, or one-dimensional arrays in numpy, and series in Panda, which is the equivalent one-dimensional array in Pandas.